Hi, this is Tony Zaire, and I'm with Talking Hands Math. I'm going to show you how to graph linear equations and what are they all about? What's the meaning of them? How do they work? All these details. So I'm going to start with a simple one, y equals 2x. Well, first off, why is it called a linear equation? Well, linear means it's going to be a straight line, and you got an equation. It's an equation that makes a straight line. And this one happens to be proportional as well. I know it's proportional because it's in this form y equals kx. And k is the constant of proportionality. That's also the slope of this line that I'm going to make. And talking about slope, slope is the rise over the run. Is the rise over the run. And since my slope is 2 right there, it's going to say, well, 2 can be expressed as 2 divided by 1. And I'm doing this, I'm turning that whole number into a fraction so I know what the slope is. It's up 2, rise 2, and run 1. So what we also need to realize is a proportional relationship always goes through the origin. So it goes through the origin. So I have a dot right there at the origin. And the slope is rise 2 and run 1. Rise 2. 1, 2. Run 1. Okay. Now, I could keep on going with this slope. Rise 2, run 1. And it's going to be making this straight line. Now, I could also not only go up 2 into the right one, but I can, on this line, we can also see that if I go down 2 and back 1, that'll also be a point on the line. And now I have this here. And I'll draw this line, draw the points. Okay, this line is a representation of the equation y equals 2x. Let me show you how. First, let's start with 0. 0 is the x coordinate. The coordinates of this point are 0, 0. And so 0 for the x. And if I take a look at this, 2 times 0 is 0. So that would mean if x were 0, then y would be 2 times 0, which is 0. So I have 0, 0 right there, and that's the point right there. If I have the point for this is 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 on the x and 2 on the y. And remember, these are called ordered pairs. The first number is always the x number, and the second number is always the y number. So if x were 1, then I would plug it into my little equation here, 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And so I have the point 1, 2. And that is that point right there. If I have the point, if I have x, 2 for x, then plug in this 2 times whatever x is. 2 times 2 is 4. And so I would have the point 2, 4. And that's this point right here. 1, 2 on the x, 4 on the y. 2, 4. It also works for negative numbers, like this this point right here. If I have negative 1 for x, then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And so I would have the point negative 1, negative 2. And that's this point right here. Negative 1 on the x and negative 2 on the y. Negative 1, negative 2. Now, this doesn't only work for whole numbers. It works for fractions and decimals and anything like that. If I have 0.5, then I would multiply 2 times 0.5. And 2 times 0.5, that would be 1, I believe. So that is 1. So if I go a half, or up to 0.5 on the x, I should hit 1 on the y. So if that's 1, then a half is about right there. And then I go up 1. And sure enough, I'm on the line right there. This is the point 0.5, comma 1. See, so what this equation is doing is saying, okay, here's the rule, here's the line. And this line is telling us where all of these ordered pairs will show up when we plug in numbers for x and then get numbers for y. Okay, so let's take a look at something a little more complex. like this, y equals 2x minus 3. Well, it's going to be just like y equals 2x. And the only difference is this is going to shift down 3. So if I have y equals 2x, that looked like this. If you remember, I'll just do this little dash thing. That's what y equals 2x was. It was that. Minus 3 is going to shift everything down 3. So this point is going to be shifted down 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Right here. And this is going to get shifted down 1, 2, 3 points. And so I would have a line. Now, oh, and then I have this one too. 1, 2, 3. And so I'm going to draw this line, and this should make another straight line that is shifted down. So this is it. Now, we can even show that this is right. How about I just have, let's take a look at the point. This is the point 0, negative, what? 1, 2, 3. 0, negative 3. So if I plug in 0 for x, I should get negative 3 for y. And when I do this here, 0 for x, that would be 2 times 0 minus 3. 2 times 0 minus 3. And that 2 times 0 is 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So there you go. 0, negative 3. And if I did all these other points on here, it would fill up this table, and these ordered pairs would show up on that line. Okay. Now, I have a couple more here. And how about this? Fraction. Y equals 2/3 x. Well, this is not a problem because that's still the slope. And this is a proportional relationship. It's always a proportional relationship when you have y equals something times x. And then that's it. That's a proportional relationship. And we know that goes through the origin right here. And we can also see that if I put 0 for x, then y is 2/3 times 0. And 2/3 times 0, anything times 0 is 0. So yeah, it's going to cross 0, 0, which is the origin right there. Now, I can see that this is my slope, and this is the rise and the run. So that means I rise 2 and I run 3. Rise 2. 1, 2, run 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, I could do this. I'm going to, let's see. I think I'm going to, let's see. Rise 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, it's good to have points to the right, but let's do points to the left. So rise 2, run 3. It will be on the same line if I go down 2, 1, 2, and back 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'll draw my line. Now, y equals 2/3 is represented by this line. So this is all points, any point here. So if I have, let's say I have the point 2. 1, 2. So the point 2, I would have 2/3 times 2. 2/3 times 2. And if you multiply fractions, 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. And you have to multiply straight across. So 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. 4/3. And 4/3 is equal to 1 1/3. So if I have the point 2, this is 2, I would go up 1 1/3, and I would be on the line. 1, and that's about a third. So that's 1 1/3. That's about a third. So that would be the point 2 and 1 1/3. See, so it's representing every single point on every single ordered pair that makes up this line will work in this equation here. Let's say I have the point negative 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, negative 3, and I should get negative 2 out. So if I have 2/3 times negative 3, and I'll put negative 3 over 1, that would be 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, and 3 times 1 is 3, and negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So there it is, negative 3, negative 2, right there. That point told me, yeah, that's going to work in the equation. And it'll give me a true statement when I'm done with that. So negative 3, negative 2. So I have one last one here. And I'm going to do this super quick. This is the same 2/3 x. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to do these two dots here. So that's y equals 2/3 x. But the plus 2 means everything gets shifted up 2. 1, 2. That gets shifted up 2, and this gets shifted up 2. And I'll do up 2 and over 3 is the same thing as going down 2 and back 3. Well, that's the bell. And our line is going to look like this. And that's all I got for you today about linear equations. Thanks for watching.